Hello, hello. My camera is crooked thanks to the cat. The cat is here. If you see a shadow, that is because we have a cat. And happy Wednesday. We have arrived at the last day of the calendar. Oh, Danny, I wanted to let you know because I haven't seen you. I haven't streamed on Sunday last week, but I did get your package. So thank you very much. I will do an unboxing and then I will post some photos. I think that they involve cute little gamer cats, but we shall see. One never knows. Actually, I have 2 or 3 little pieces of Happy Mail, so that'll be exciting. What else? We are at the last day. I don't know how we've gotten through 12 days of ornaments already, but we seem to have. This is what we made last time, and now that it's dried, you can see that it wobbles. It's a little like bottom heavy because of the bell tassel, but I still think it's pretty cute. Lennox is interested in it as well, so I guess it meets with his approval. But what comes in day 12, you might ask? And if you've seen Cordelia's video, she had the reversed advent calendar where day 5 is day 12, so you probably know already, but it is an angel and an accordion piece, which you can use to make wings out of, essentially. If you're familiar with Scrappy Tales, you probably recognize these from like the A7 book. Same idea. It basically is going to cut a accordion for you. You could, of course, do this with your scoreboard. We have a really nice, we have a hook, again, which would mount behind the angel, basically, so that you can do a, yes, hi, Lennox. It's not a cat toy, it's a die. And then we have our angel layer and our decorative layer, which is really pretty with this dress. And, of course, a halo, because you kind of need one. This one doesn't have a halo after his advent calendar mishap. Well, he probably does. It's just a little crooked right now. Hello, Barbara. Welcome, welcome. So I was thinking, like, color-wise about this, and I thought it would be fun to do sort of a light blue background and then do the angel in shimmer white and her wings in shimmer white, or his wings, I guess, and then do the halo in, like, iridescent. Since the halo, the iridescent is not backed, but the shimmer paper has backing on both sides. I'm probably just going to cut one detail angel too, because like for better or worse, the angel kind of has a definite front to him, her, them, whatever, if you put the wings on. And I think we will definitely do the wings because that looks pretty fun. If you watch Cordelia's video, she does it in all pink, which is really fun. Pink and pink glitter, which probably would make Pam not happy, but you know, whichever. So let me just cut this up. I don't actually use angels that much in my crafting, so this will be kind of interesting. I know that Sabrina, who made the calendar, I believe the angel was her favorite, so it has that going for it, certainly. We'll just unwarp our plate a little bit. What do you want to cut? Let's cut we can cut the detail layer, I think, because I don't need as much space for, let me see how big this is. a little longer and not nearly as wide, probably. Or we can, I'll just cut this way, and then we can figure out what we need to do for the wings, and then I'll just rotate this. Can we do that? Yeah, I think we can get all this. We can get a lot of this in one pass. Then we can think about what we want to do. I might do the hook in white as well. So let's do the hook in shimmer white as well, just for, because I think that would make sense. What am I doing? Yes, we are putting this on and then flipping it and then running it through the die machine. Let me just see if I'm missing anything before I go and cut the first pass here. A mouse cat. Oh, a rescue cat. Hooray. Tell us about your cat, Barbara. Hopefully your cat is, well, if you want a cat to help you craft, I hope your cat helps you craft. If you prefer more of a cat who observes your crafting, I hope you get that. But I would love to hear all about it. My cats are rescue cats, although you probably wouldn't know it. They were allegedly feral cats, although since Lennox was bottle raised, he has never actually been feral. Kaiser, you could believe it out a little easier. And we will see how we did. Well, this cut lovely. We do have our halo seems to have cut out just fine. There's our halo. Ooh, that looks really fun in the iridescent. Sorry, that's a little off camera. That looks really neat in iridescent for sure. So we probably want to do another halo. And we want to definitely do another hook. And this shouldn't be, yeah, this we will have a pretty set. See, that looks really pretty to me too. We can worry about weeding this later once we get our other pieces. So basically we just need to cut this and then cut some wings and then cut our actual angel. And then we can put it back together. Black and ginger. Ooh, that sounds fancy. That's a really nice color combo. The cat I almost adopted before Lennox moved in was like a white cat who had black, ginger, and like tan buff, I guess, kind of spots. I mean, like large spots. More like I don't know. More like if you had like a Holstein cow that happened to be a cat that had different color spots. Anyway, there are so many cute cats one could adopt. So now I think we're done with this. Or not. We'll see. Oh, I cut a little, never mind. I cut a little chunk of the white out accidentally here. So I wasn't sure why I was seeing white on my, this little white piece on the halo. There we go. So we have our two halos that we can do back to back. We have our halo die. We have our other hook. I think the only other thing we need to do out of shiny paper is the wings. And we can decide if we want to use the wings too. I feel like it, like since it's an angel, like wings are kind of a necessity, but we'll see. We can always get mostly done. And I'm just going to keep my dies off here to the side so that we don't lose them. There's wing number 1. And here is wing number 2. Hello, Danny. And I will say these accordion pieces fall right out of here, which is pretty neat. We may need clips to work on these too, so we'll see. But what we definitely need is not drop our scissors on the floor, but we need a few of these bases. And you could do this if you wanted to. You could also do this as a flat tag, essentially, and not use the wings. Like you could just do the decorative layer in this base layer if you wanted to. That would be a pretty fancy gift tag, if gift tags are your thing. I will say this calendar has really reacquainted me with my die machine. That's for sure. Which sometimes I neglect because sometimes it's just like super easy to just color and make ephemera or use all the ephemera I've spent money on, that kind of stuff. But these have been a lot of fun. And I really like this light blue for this particular thing. I am going to just reinforce the score line before we get too far because we're going to put basically all of these back to back and then figure out the wings. And you can, I should probably get the detail layer out so you can see what this looks like together. But you, of course, can either not use the detail layer. You can also make a honeycomb ornament out of these. You just want to cut it out of lighter paper and cut a whole bunch of them. But here is the iridescent. And I will also just reinforce this score line, mostly along this part. The rest of this is pretty fine, so it probably won't need it, but just so the head can fold all right. And I really like how this looks. Well, I don't think it was Sabrina. It was somebody else who did one of these that looked really cool, just using white and then glitter white cardstock. But basically what we're going to do is stick these together. Sort of like this. And then this will give us a definite front. And we may I'm probably going to put the halo together first. But basically, we'll probably put the halo underneath here. Well, probably glue the halo to this layer and then start gluing things together. But I do want to glue my halos and hooks together just so that they're a little bit beefier. Because this glitter, this foil paper from Michaels is not the thickest paper, so it can be a little tricky to work with. Hello, Tony. Welcome. Hello, Janine. How are you? What was I going to mention to you guys? Oh, there's all sorts of people. Well, there are a couple different people streaming tonight. Elizabeth is going live with Gianna, who has been here on a few different streams. I did not see that, or I would have linked it. And then I'll be going live with Elizabeth on her channel tomorrow to play with Simon Hurley holiday things. And something else is happening. Oh, and Scrappy Tales is continuing their series with the Advent calendar. So if you want to see essentially what the creator of the calendar does with some of these dies, that's pretty fun too. Whoop. Don't want to lose our halo. You already lost your halo, sir. What? Don't give me that look. I'm not the one who broke into my Advent calendar early. Well, I mean, I did, but I did it so that we could show people things. You did it just so you could eat everything. And we have our desk kitty. Although I'm going to have to move him slightly. But let's see if we can't. Sorry. What did you do with my other hook? Oh, here it is. We'll get the things out of your way, and then you can be you. But the honeycomb version of this, I like quite a bit. It's a little subtle. I mean, it looks like a person, so unless you put the halo and the wings on, it doesn't necessarily have to be an angel. So you could just use it as sort of a person if that is more your preference, I think. But I don't know. Like, angels aren't really a Christmas thing that much for me, although, like, obviously they are in, like, the Christmas Story. But, like, growing up, like, I don't remember angels as, like, part of the, like, iconography of Christmas, if that makes sense. And then we will, I must have missed gluing this, but we will just glue this piece together. I'm not really worried about wiping off glue on this one. And the glue, when you're working with these finer pieces, like the glue does make the paper a little bit pliable while it's still wet. So generally with these, I'll just set them off to the side and let them dry. I mean, the halo is always already fine. So, and because the head of the angel is solid, essentially, you can either, you can put this in the groove. You could score this in if you wanted to. I'm just going to put it sort of off to one side of the score line, I think. And it won't be, but if you wanted it to be exactly centered, you could do that too. Actually, we can probably just like bend the support piece a little bit, and then we can just put it in the crease directly. So let's do that. I hope everybody's been having a good week. Sorry you had to adult today, Pam. I also had to adult at work, and because I will be working on things this weekend, which isn't the norm for me, but happens occasionally. Carry on. Oh, well. I'm glad that he got home and that he had safe travels. Oh, I hope the chemo isn't bad for you either. I know that my grandmother had it several times during her life, and it just kind of takes a lot out of you. So now I'm going to just put some glue down and I'm going to glue our main piece. I'm not going to be super careful about the head or sort of the middle here because we're going to, that's going to have basically full adhesion. And then I'm going to go back and do a few of the edges here just directly. Do, do, do. This doesn't have a lot of like free parts once this die is cut, if that makes sense. So as long as it's mostly down, I think you're going to be fine. The only ones you might have to worry about are these sort of curly cues with the dress because they potentially would lift up. But anyway, hopefully we will not have that happen. Then I'm just going to make sure that the head is nicely adhered just because that's going to keep the halo on. And I'm just going to blot this down a little bit to make sure that we have good adhesion. There we go. With the shimmer, you don't really have to worry as much as the foil about getting excess glue off. So I'm just going to get anything that seems overly sticky off. The glue will basically dry matte, so that should be good. But this you could use just as a tag or a card element by itself. Let's just see how big this would be. So this is an A2 card base. So if you it would fit on an A2 card base, just FYI. It would take up the whole thing, but this would be really neat, especially with like a fun texture in the background or something, and then you could like pop it up with some foam. But the suggestion someone had was like if you just made it like this, then you have this back and you could put to and from on here and make this into a tag, which I think this would be a pretty fun tag. You could also continue doing what we're doing and use that as a tag if you wanted it to be a highly blingy tag. Oh, well, I'm glad that your sister got through 5 years. I think that's an important milestone. I know one of my friends who had dealt with one of the forms of it basically had said that I think it's like 2 years of being in remission is a big milestone as well. Anyway, I'm just going to glue this together. You could, of course, use the detail layer on all of these. I just don't really see, I don't see a big point to it since this angel clearly has a front because of the wings that we haven't made yet. But basically, you want to get this whole piece together and then the wings glue on sort of after the fact. And I'm going to grab our hook, and I think we can just glue this inside at this point. Again, I think this one is actually pretty easy to put together compared to some of the ornament. Well, I mean, I think all the ornaments were pretty straightforward to put together, honestly. But I mean, I think this one is pretty straightforward in terms of it having like a clear direction, if that makes sense. But you know, do it however you like. And I'm glad that we use different colors between the halo and the hook so that you could tell which is which. And we will just squeegee our glue down and tell our cat to not paw through our scrap pile. And as you can see, just as is, this would be a really fun. I'm not going to grab the hook since it's still kind of drying, but once this dries, this would be a really fun ornament, just like this too. And because it's has sort of this T-shape. Well, it's kind of rounded on the bottom, so I guess it wouldn't really work. But if you pop this up so that it was square, you could actually glue like a little square stand in and have it be more of a decor piece and like lose the hook, if that makes sense. You could just continue. I'm thinking on Sunday I might do a like demo doing one of the honeycomb ornaments just with a random die so that you guys can see that it can really be done with anything that's in your stash. You don't actually have to go out and buy an advent calendar. But what we're going to do is, as you might guess with an accordion, you just sort of fold it front and back. You sort of zigzag fold it until it is together. And there's a couple different things we can do with it. So we will experiment a little bit to see what we like, including not use it. But these score lines are relatively thin, so I do want to reinforce this. And you just have to sort of squish it together. Thanks, Barbara. I don't know. Are you guys pro angel people? I know that some people are like big believers in angels in our lives and other people not so much. Oops. I recall growing up, like you'd see them at church and stuff, but I don't know that I had. My grandmother liked collecting them as like holiday ornaments. Here we go. So you have a couple options. Um, I believe the way it's was sort of originally designed, you would sort of glue the ends together, basically. Let me see how that works. Oh, you could glue the ends together. You can also sort of glue them down to make. Well, I guess it's not quite long enough to do that, but I think you would glue this end together and then sort of just. So this would make a wing, basically. So you just sort of glue this like this and then clamp it or whatnot. Just put a little glue in between, and you could, clip this with a clip, assuming we can find one. And then once this is dry, then you can just glue these on as an element. So I think we will do that. We will see if I remember where I put my clips. Because they were here at hand, as most things are. And then I put them away. And I'm not sure where I put them away to. Which is kind of a moral of a lot of things. But so I'm just going to put glue in, and then we're just going to use one of our weights to weight it down whilst it dries. So I'm just going to put glue in most of one side of the folds and leave the other side open, essentially. And you don't need to use a ton because obviously once you squish this down, it's going to stay together. I'm just going to put my hand on this for a minute or two just to allow the glue some time to hold. And if it ooks out a little bit, that's fine. Oh, that's so nice of you, Gloria. But this is the case of not a like one of those like a binder clip would be really good here to basically hold this together. And you can see we did lose a little bit of glue, but not a ton. So let's see how this is. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is just keep this weighted down and we'll work on the other one. Of course, if you had a die cut wings, or if you want, you could kind of do it. You can sort of make moon shape things pretty easily with a circle die as well. So, I mean, if you have a circle die, you could also make more moon shape wings if you wanted more of a flat element as opposed to what we're doing. But these I think, are going to come out kind of fun too. And, it's just that easy to zigzag fold this. It is pretty straightforward. But it looks like these are 1/4-inch folds. So if you are not using a die, you can simply do this with a scoreboard too. And let's just hit the other side. And we will pinch this together. Put it under the same block and just let that glue things together for a minute. The original one is probably okay to work with at this point. Let me grab this one out. And you can see, depending on how much you glue this and how delicate this point is, like you're going to have, once you're done, you can kind of floof it out. And you could certainly do a whole bunch of these and just glue them all at once and then just let him go. But this is sort of the wing look, so we can decide how we want them. I kind of like them like this, so that they're, well, you could tilt them a little towards the top, but you could decide how far out you want. If you basically push this back to sort of your, what's the word I'm looking for? To touch the fold there, you'll get something that looks like this. And you can decide which side you think is more angelic, certainly. And sort of like the honeycombs, you can sort of floof these out. So like if you floof it out a lot, you're going to get a floof. It's going to look a little more, I don't know, it's going to look a little larger. So it kind of depends how big of a wing you want. I'm sorry. Are you not interested in how big of a wing we should have, Mr. Lennox? But I kind of like them where they're a little bit bigger than about a quarter of a circle. I think that's a good size for the angel. Although it's your angel, so you can do them whatever size you want. But basically, once the first part is glued, you just put glue on the top of this, and then we're going to decide where we want it, and then we're going to glue it down. So I kind of like it about like this. I'm just going to wipe off any excess. Again, we can weight this down to make our life a little bit easier, and then see how this one is doing. And this one has, it's going to sort of mirror what size we have here. The nice thing generally with this PVA glue and Lennox is, hi Lennox, I don't know what you're doing. Don't do that. Just pick where you want to sit. Of course you pick there. Anyway, this PVA glue grabs pretty fast, so like, but it doesn't grab super hard initially. So like, I want to be kind of careful of this wing so that it doesn't fall off. If they did, it wouldn't be the end of the world because you could just reglue it. So I'm going to, you can also sort of curve these around too. So if you want more of a cupped wing, you could actually, once this is glued down, you can glue down these pieces, and then it'd give you more of that kind of a look where we're gluing it more. Whoop. You're attacking our cat with the wing accidentally, but we are gluing it more up and down. So it's really just what you think looks better. Just dab some glue on there. And I'm just going to try and match what I did. And this is where like one of those clips we looked at earlier, one of the like binder style, like, you know, Dollar Tree clips. You could just clip these down and that would give you a little more security when you're working. I'm going to give this a minute and then flip it around so you can see what the final ornament looks like, and hope that I give it enough time so that the wings don't fall off. But if we lose a wing, we will redo it. But basically, let me just put a little glue in here. So I'm just going to push this underneath just so that we have a clean look. And do the same thing here. And I think these are both on. But this is sort of our finished angel. It looks really cute. It looks, I don't know, almost rustic, I guess, with the dress. I really like it. But I think you could also get a neat look if you did more like crescent-y wings, because that would be very flat, kind of like the way the decorations on the dress are. Sir, could you stop? Yeah. There we go. Jumped off. So did the cardstock. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this back over and let it dry, but just to sort of give you the look, it would look like that with the hook. I think it looks kind of cute, actually. This bottom part I can feel not really drying, so I'm going to give it a little bit more glue, actually. Whilst we're here. Again, you can, of course, like let this dry overnight too and not handle it while that's happening, which would help immensely. But, we're doing a little more handling than you probably would just so that people can see what this looks like. There we go. So I'm going to leave that off to the side to dry. And that kind of takes us to the end of our Advent calendar. You have some time left to grab a snack if you want to do that before 6 p.m. streams start. 6 p.m. stream? Yeah, because we started at 5. But anyway, I appreciate you guys coming. I appreciate you watching me muddle through making an angel. See, that's doing pretty well. But it'll do a lot better after I give that glue some more time to dry. Anyway, it's good to see everybody. You could draw a face, and if you had any, the head is about maybe a little less than an inch. So if you had any sort of face pieces from a die set, you could certainly put eyes on it. I mean, it would be cute if you did just like a little smiley face on it too. You could make it really whimsical if you wanted to. But anyway, it was great chatting with you guys. I hope to see you over in Elizabeth or Sabrina's chats later on this evening, and I hope everybody has a good time. I will put up a post. I'll be over on Elizabeth's channel tomorrow, and then I don't think anything until Sunday. So a couple days off to relax from streaming. But I thank everybody who came to this series because I had a lot of fun with this, and I'll probably keep making ornaments. But that is pretty much it. Kaiser is on the floor and is rubbing up against my leg, and I think would like some food. So I will go and do that. But it's great seeing you guys. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday.